excitement around our resolution, something we shouldn't overlook, which I think would be of interest to many people in the room, is that there was a seismic shift in the regional board at conference. As far as I'm aware, there's now only one member of the regional board elected from the constituencies who wasn't on the Joint Momentum CRPD LRC slate, the Grassroots Alliance slate. That's Anne Black, who retained her seat. One of the major moments at conference, to all the delegates were there, was the vitriolic and bitter speech given by the conference chair on hearing that he'd not only lost control of conference, that democracy had been asserted by delegates, but that he'd been kicked off the regional board because delegates were so fed up with his behaviour, he'd been voted out. And I think most of the other seats, the trade union seats, were also won by candidates from the left. And in fact, Brighton and Hove, although we don't have constituency representatives, we now also have the GMB representative on the regional board is Amanda from Kent Town. And I think there's another Brighton and Hove person on the regional board. I can't quite remember who it is. I'm sure I remember seeing two names there. Yes, I said Amanda. So I mean, this is important because actually Brighton and Hove, we're the biggest. Brighton Pavilion itself is the biggest constituency in the region, and we haven't had representatives on that board for ages. The old district party, our unit, Brighton and Hove, say if you take us as an LCF unit now, we are the biggest. We're still the biggest party unit in the country, and we've been ignored by the regional board for years. The fact that they thought they could rule out what was, quite frankly, an innocuous motion. It wasn't like it was a challenging motion. It was just saying we reaffirm party policy and we'd like the regional board to do something about it. That's all it said. And they ruled it out of order and told us that trans rights were not relevant to our region. And we stood up and said, we're not standing for it. And they didn't seem to expect that, you know, I went to the Unite delegation meeting, took that leaflet and said, would Unite support it? And they stood up and said, yeah, we'll second you and we'll get up there. Unison got behind us, GMB got behind us, CWU, thanks to Lizzie, were the first union to get behind us. And, you know, even when they saw that lined up, they still were intransigent, and they all got voted out as a consequence of that. You know, we are now the first region in the country, I understand, with a left-wing Corbyn-supporting regional board. So we've gone from actually having what was notorious, the South East region, as being the most right-wing regional board in the country, to now being the most left-wing. And that's why this conference was momentous, and anybody who's been to a regional conference in the past, I mean, you go to a regional conference, you take a good book and expect to sleep. And this was just, it was amazing. Really amazing, and our delegates were fantastic.